All right, welcome back for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. I'm Chris Wright, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Matthew Wade. Good to see you, Matthew.
Hey, good to be back. I always like the show and report what good work's happened. So.
Let's see, how many arrests did we have this week?
2 arrests this week. Never let us down. Brings the count up to 3,864 people. Once again, because somebody was willing to get involved.
Thank you all for helping out with this, and we'll have another list for you here starting in just a few minutes. But first, let's go ahead and take on the topic that's on a lot of people's minds. Sure. We had an incident at the Calhoun County Jail that was not what you wanted to happen. So what happened and what is happening?
Absolutely. You know, I want to be transparent and honest with the people. Last Sunday, got a report that an officer had been attacked by an inmate. And then some more news come in that the inmate had some injuries. You know, he had a bloody nose. So I'm like, how did this happen? You know, so I get down to the jail and it comes apparent that the officer was attacked by the inmate. That's on camera. Then an officer, they sprayed him with pepper spray and handcuffed him. At that point, he wasn't fighting anymore. They took him to the decon area to decon him from the pepper spray, at which time it's alleged that an officer played a little catch-up. It struck the inmate several times while he was in handcuffs. That's outside their training. That's outside our policy. They know it's illegal. They know they can't do it. We just have to stand for right, and the public's got to understand. The public don't have to understand. We have to understand the public demands us to do the right thing, and that's what we're going to do.
You say allegedly, you probably feel like you've got a pretty good handle on what actually happened, but at the same time, you're making sure that this is investigated independently.
Absolutely. You know, after that officer hit that inmate a couple of times, he had felt like the officer in the tower wasn't doing their duty. And if they'd been watching a little better, that this wouldn't have happened. So he leaves there, goes down to the tower, and goes in and punches one of his coworkers in the face. So this officer was definitely emotionally hijacked. He was not following his training and procedures. And with all that information, I called the district attorney Monday morning of last week and told him what I had, and he recommended, and I agreed with him, to call the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, ALEA, State Bureau of Investigations, and have them come in. So I had them come in last week, and we worked Tuesday through Friday, and they're still working on it. It's going to be a long investigation because they got to get subpoena medical records. They got to get the video footage downloaded from the jail, statements from everybody that was involved. So this is a lengthy process. In that process, they're going to take that and either present it to the district attorney or to a grand jury to see what they say about it. So criminal charges very well could apply. The federal government, you know, it will be reported to them. We want to make sure they know about it. They could take this up as a civil rights violation. Either way, this is not something I wanted, not something that we've trained our people to do. I have all the confidence in the world in our corrections officers that do it right. But when you do something wrong, if you're a bad apple, I will not stand for it, and we will correct it, and we'll be open and honest, and we'll go forth to do the right thing. I told them, doing the right thing's hard, but we're going to do the right thing if you work at the sheriff's office.
And as far as employment is concerned, you're overseeing that, but as far as the criminal side of things is concerned, that's been taken out of your hands, and somebody independently is going to be taking care of that.
A fair and impartial thing. There's a parallel investigation, which is the administrative side of it. The lieutenant, the sergeant, and the officer involved have all been placed on administrative leave until the outcome of this investigation is over with. But
and that doesn't mean that each of them necessarily did anything wrong. It just means that we're going to make sure that the inmates are safe while everything is figured out.
Absolutely. And before I put somebody back to work, I got to know that they have told the truth and that they've done the right thing. If somebody made a mistake that we can correct, we'll do that. If not, then we'll have to part ways with them, and we'll see what the criminal side says.
Okay. All right. Well, that's where that sits right now. We'll know more at some point in the future, and we'll let everybody else that's in charge of that do their jobs. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll let you do your job if you're willing. Help us find some bad guys. We've got this week's list coming up in just a few moments here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
But now I am
Sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
AOD Federal Credit Union. You already know their friendly staff and great loan products. So here's reason number 8 to choose AOD FCU, a new all-platinum Visa credit card. Call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com to start earning 1% cash back on purchases. Your good credit earns you a better rate. A new Platinum Visa card. Another reason you belong at AOD Federal Credit Union.
I have my own lawn care service. One day I had some blades that was bent. I was probably here for 5 minutes and they had me back on the road going.
It helps me make more money simply because it's a more dependable machine. And side-by-side comparisons, people want to say they're better, but I've driven them and Toro is the best.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston Stroud with Family Links, and this is the Family Tip of the Week. This will be a tough Christmas for many families. It'll be hard for many parents to explain why they can't buy everything their kids want. This issue is one that we discuss every year. Let's face it, many kids think Christmas is all about gifts. Whether it's video games, clothes, or toys, most kids rate Christmas by the gifts they receive. So how do we help our kids appreciate the joy and magic of Christmas beyond what they get? How can parents help their children truly embrace the reality and truth of Christmas? Obviously, leading your kids to believe that their wish list is a demand list, or focusing exclusively on Santa, or using it to threaten or manipulate your children is unhelpful. But what are you communicating to your children? Are your expressions of the story of Christmas motivating your children to want to know more? God made our imaginations and hardwired us to connect deeply with stories. Jesus himself appealed to people's imagination by telling parables, stories that communicated profound truths. Even if stories are fairy tales and therefore not empirically true, they still communicate truth. Some parents will even use the Santa myth to teach their children to be giving rather than demanding, and to experience generosity and grace. No matter the age of your child, Christmas will always be an exciting time. Help your child focus on the truths of the Christmas story in ways that will be the most meaningful to him or her. Consider ways to incorporate the story of Christmas into your family devotions. And if you're not currently doing a family devotion, consider Christmas as a time to begin a family worship time that will help bring your family into a close understanding of the truths that God daily reveals in His Word. Also remember, Christmas is not as much about opening our presents as opening our hearts. The Family Links family wishes you all a wonderful Christmas and a happy holiday season.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up on our lineup this week, Ricky Horn. Mr. Horn, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for a probation violation on possession of a forged instrument second. And meet Corneldrick Roy. Mr. Roy, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on attempted fraudulent leasing of rental property. Take a look at Demris Allman. Mr. Allman, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for probation violation on felony domestic violence assault third. And this is Marcia Chapman Jones. Miss Jones, last known to be living in Ohatchee, she's wanted for probation revocation on theft of property second. And take a look at Stephen Hollis. Mr. Hollis, last known to be living in Mumford, he's wanted for failure to appear on child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And this is Matthew Forrester. Mr. Forrester, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for probation violation on attempted assault first and criminal mischief first. And last up for the first half of our lineup, David Kuhn. Mr. Coon, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property third. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, we are back on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We'll have more from the lineup here in just a few moments, but right now, Susan Shipman joining us from Second Chance. Susan, it's good to see you.
Hey, it's good to be seen. Good to be here. Thanks.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that.
Yes, thank you.
Speaking of which, by the way, kind of off topic maybe, I'm really bad at wrapping my Christmas presents. Do you happen to know anywhere I could get those wrapped?
There's a rumor that there's a place out at the Quintard Mall where you can have your gifts wrapped professionally.
Every year, this is what we do. We go down to the mall and we say, okay, Second Chance volunteers, please take care of this.
And we will be there for you as usual because we understand that you're limited.
This is a big fundraiser for Second Chance,
It is. It's our largest single fundraiser of the year, and we started on Saturday, December the 3rd, and we run through Christmas Eve on Saturday at 6 p.m. And so we'll bring in about $12,000. We're always hoping that we'll hit that next high mark, and so maybe it will be 14 this year. It will help if you and others will bring your gifts to be wrapped there.
And Matthew, your daughter asked me to find out, are you capable of wrapping a Jeep Wrangler?
Yes.
There's no doubt she asked you that. There's no doubt.
We could do that.
And it wouldn't take a lot of paper because the Matchbox one that I have wouldn't, it's just, it wouldn't be very big. But yes, my daughter will be 16 a couple of weeks, and she has hopes and dreams. So.
Okay. Well, just keep us posted, and if that were to come true for her, we can wrap the big one as well.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I imagine that being there at the mall and wrapping these gifts, obviously that's a great fundraiser that does bring in some much needed funds at a very important time for Second Chance. But it probably also is a really good awareness generator and might be a good opportunity for people to ask questions about Second Chance and maybe even say, hey, I need some help.
Exactly, and it really is. And sometimes we will have people approach us that have participated in our programs, and always it's a good awareness thing because there are still people that don't know that we exist, and if the survivors don't know that we are around, then they too don't know how to access our services. So we do a lot of chatting while we're there and help people understand what they can do if they're in an abusive situation, or if they have been sexually assaulted, how they can get some counseling or whatever it is that they need.
And the sexual assault part, that's relatively new for Second Chance, but the shelter for domestic violence victims is what you've been built around, but you've added that component in as well.
Yes, we've been providing emergency shelter for survivors since 1990, and in 2012, the organization that was providing services for sexual assault victims had to close, and we took up that as part of our mission, and so we've been doing very well. That program has grown quite a bit since we started, and we're real gracious, proud that is possible. We've gotten some additional funding, and so that always helps.
Absolutely. Sheriff, it's important sometimes when you're in situations where you are at risk, your children are at risk. Sometimes you just need to call 911.
Absolutely.
Sometimes calling Second Chance is the right option.
And we call them as well when we come across a report of an assault, sexual nature, or domestic. They're our resource. That's who we call and ask them. They'll come to the hospital. They do everything they possibly can to help people, and that's what the name of the game's about, is helping others.
And oftentimes we will have an officer that's on the scene of a domestic violence incident put the victim on the telephone with one of our advocates so that they can talk about shelter and how the process works and how to get there.
Now we are looking for more volunteers to man the gift wrapping stations at the mall. If somebody's volunteering to do that, they're not necessarily saying, hey, I'm fully equipped to deal with all of these questions, right?
Right, but we've got resource materials out at the mall so that they will have that to give whoever's asking the questions, and then they can call our numbers to ask the question. Our office number is 256-236-7381, and the crisis line number is 236-7233. And so anybody that answers the phone at either location can answer questions.
They can always call the sheriff's office, and we'll get them the information they need to contact second chance.
Exactly.
And so this time of the year, this is a different time of the year. It's not the same as the other 11 months of the year. Different things are happening in the homes. And are you seeing more phone calls? Are you seeing different phone calls? What's it like at Second Chance in December?
Oftentimes during the holidays, because everybody is spending so much time together, the domestic violence can be exacerbated, and the victim in the home may find the need to escape, during the season. Ordinarily, people that are already in our shelter will stay during this season because they're not moving back to the bad situation or a new situation during the holidays. It's easier to be, in one place. So the kids, if they're children, they can experience Christmas Day like other children do. And we have an adopt-a-family program where businesses and individuals adopt people that are in our shelter or have just recently left our shelter, so that they can also have gifts
That's
provided
a great
for
idea.
them.
I want to find out more about that here in just a second. We need to take a quick break, but we will be right back with the second half of this week's lineup and more about Second Chance on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Ready for a new ride? Get ready for Rig. I'm Rig A. Marole, and I am ready with all the fancy jargon, made-up expenses, marketing gimmicks, and flat-out lies that you've come to expect when you go car shopping. You want to pay way too much for a piece of junk like this? Get a load of me, Rig A. Marole, at your neighborhood used car dealer. I'll have you marolling off this lot in your new vehicle.
I'm Marty Boyles, and I guarantee no rigmarole here at Jacksonville Auto Sales. Just good cars and trucks at fair prices. We're in Jacksonville across from Walmart, or find us on the web at jascars.com. Remember, Jacksonville Auto Sales, home of the no rigmarole deal.
I have a lot of land that I have to keep up. I'd recommend Mahindra. I've never had any trouble with mine. Like I said, I do a lot of bush hogging. I do a lot of garden tilling. The service department has been great. Every time I've ever called or needed anything done, they have done it for me.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Katina Jones. Miss Jones, last known to be living in Birmingham, she's wanted for failure to appear on theft of property second. Take a look at Samuel Miller. Mr. Miller, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for harassment. And this is Russell Metz. Mr. Metz, last known to be living in Oxford, he's wanted for possession of marijuana second. Take a look at Jason Mahoney. Mr. Mahoney, last known to be living in Alexandria, he's wanted for harassment. And meet Trevorius Fowler. Mr. Fowler, last known to be living in Talladega, he's wanted for harassing communication. We'd like you to take a look at Mary Ferris. Miss Ferris, last known to be living in Oxford, she's wanted for carrying a pistol without a permit. And last up in our lineup this week, Julia Beam. Miss Beam, last known to be living in Ohatchee, she's wanted for theft of property motor vehicle. And that's it for our lineup. If you know the whereabouts of any of these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers. That number 256-238-1414.
And we still got some crime fighting for you to do. We'll have our Crime Stoppers segment of the show in just a few minutes, talk about some property crimes that have been committed here recently, and we'll also have our Crazy Criminal of the Week. But right now, Susan Shipman of Second Chance is with us, talking about gift wrapping at the Quintar Mall. That's a big fundraiser for you this time of the year, and a lot of things going on at the shelter. And you were talking about how families that are at the shelter this time of the year, they may stay a little bit longer than they do at other times of the year. Christmas is just not a good time to be going back into a potentially dangerous situation, certainly. So we've got a bunch of kids away from home in a shelter at Christmas time, and that's an opportunity for those of us in the community looking to do something. This is something very tangible that we can do.
Absolutely. By adopting a family that's in our shelter, you can provide them with the gifts that perhaps the survivor mom is not able to do. A lot of the women that come into our shelter are not employed, or they've had to leave their employment because of the abusive situation. And so you can call our administrative office and we can hook you up with a family or with a single individual. We do this for our transitional housing residents as well. And so they have the wants and needs on their list. You're not going blindly shopping. You have an idea about what they would like to have, and so you can help out that way. We've been privileged to have a Father Christmas that's been helping us at Christmas time also for those really big gifts that there's no way that could happen for the children that are in the shelter, some electronic thingies. And
I would imagine that this is more than just, obviously the kids are going to appreciate it and love it. And the parents, the mothers that are there, are going to really appreciate that somebody is caring for their kids. But I would imagine that a lot of these parents, they've been in a situation that's an abusive situation, and they've been disconnected from the outside world. They've been held back from it, and the act of someone else taking care specifically of their family, a stranger helping their family at Christmas, that must help mentally with the concept of them thinking, yes, there will be support for me outside of this bad relationship.
It does, and that's a really good point, for them to understand that people do care and people do understand what's going on with them and what was happening in their household. And the victim and the children, they're at our shelter, and they get to experience Christmas without all the eggshell stuff, without being afraid to be too excited about what they get, or to be disappointed about what they don't get, or any of their behaviors and reactions. And of course, they cook the big meal and everything, and we do the Santa Claus thing. And so, it's maybe something they haven't been able to experience ever or for a really long time in their household, that they can have the gift-giving experience and there not be strife.
And that's so important, isn't it, Sheriff? When you just get them a little bit away from some of that, then they can start to blossom again and bloom.
Absolutely. Some people don't know life any other way, and showing them that you can have a relationship that's calm and loving, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. All right.
Volunteers for gift wrap. 236-7381. We've still got a lot of positions open, and so we don't want for you to miss out. This is really a hoot, and it's so much fun, and we've got some lovely paper and all kind of doodads to put on it. And if you don't have if you're like our friend here and you have no skills, somebody's got to stick the bows too, right? And somebody's got to chat and collect the dollars and all of that kind of thing. So there's a job for everybody at Gift Wrap.
You probably get some pretty good ideas as well if you're stuck on what to get somebody for Christmas. You see what everybody else is buying.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah. You get to wrap that up.
We're up close. We're in the hallway close to Dillard's, and we are on the other end of the mall where guest services used to be, right across from Santa.
Can we take a quick look at the back here, because I know you got sponsors on there.
Yes, we do.
This is an example of businesses and individuals that have said, you know what, I believe in Second Chance and the work that you're doing, and I want to help by sponsoring these shirts and the gift wrapping expenses there.
Thank you, and we're so grateful for all of our sponsors. They certainly do take the bite out of the cost of the supplies.
And by doing that, they make sure that the donations that people make when they're getting the gifts wrapped goes straight into helping with the services.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, okay, if somebody's watching right now and they need to get in touch with you, let's go over that contact information again, because there may be somebody that right now is thinking, you know what, this is who I need to talk to.
Okay, the crisis line is 256-236-7233, and the office where you can sign up to volunteer or for Adopt a Family is 256-236-7381.
And if there's somebody watching right now that's just dreading the holidays and what they're going to be going through because of a situation at home, real quickly, what advice would you give them?
We can help. if you need some help, make our phone ring and let's talk about maybe some safety planning for you over the holiday season so that you can avoid some injury and maybe talk about escaping and coming into shelter.
All right. Thank you very much, Susan.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. We will be right back with the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
AOD Federal Credit Union. You already know their friendly staff and great loan products. So here's reason number 8 to choose AOD FCU, a new all-platinum Visa credit card. Call 1-800-637-0299 or visit AODFCU.com to start earning 1% cash back on purchases. Your good credit earns you a better rate. A new Platinum Visa card. Another reason you belong at AOD Federal Credit.
I have my own lawn care service. One day I had some blades that was bent. I was probably here for 5 minutes and they had me back on the road going.
It helps me make more money simply because it's a more dependable machine. And side-by-side comparisons, people want to say they're better, but I've driven them and Toro is the best.
Hey folks, come see us at Foothills Tractor. We're your one-stop shop for anything you need. Locally owned, locally operated, give you the best customer service guaranteed.
The Ford brand has always brought you impressive style and legendary quality, and Sonny King Ford brings you the lowest price and the largest inventory, new or pre-owned. The new 2015 F-150 gets the best gas mileage of any truck without giving up its powerful towing capacity. The iconic new 2015 Mustang, with its classic pony car looks and hunkered down stance, preserves a legacy that defines American motoring. For over 93 years, Sonny King Ford, for the best cars and best price.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put your deer stalkers on and help our investigators with these cases. First up this week, on November 21st, residents on Alexandria Wellington Road in Wellington was burglarized. They got away with a bunch of jewelry. And on November 26th, a welder was stolen from a residence on Tredegar Road in Jacksonville. And that's it for your cases this week. If you know anything about these cases, and we hope you do, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
All right, for our Crazy Criminal of the Week, we don't have to go very far. Sheriff, we had one right here in town.
Well, it starts out like this. I had a guy that wanted to come talk to me about getting his pistol permit. He'd had some criminal charges in the past, and he wanted to get a permit, and he wanted to talk to me. When they come and said he was there, said, this guy's here to talk to you about his permit, but he is reeking of marijuana.
Uh-oh.
The only advice I will say is, if you're going to come talk to the sheriff, don't have marijuana on you in the sheriff's office.
Not a good idea.
He didn't get to go home that day.
No.
So, I mean, crazy criminal, stupid criminal. I mean, if you're going to go talk to the sheriff, you would think you would leave your marijuana at home.
You have smelled it before.
We have smelled it before, and we, our training and education experience, it's kind of, the marijuana name, they call it loud a lot of times for the strong odor it emits, and he had to call his dad to come get his car because he come to talk to the sheriff, smelling like marijuana. That's just not good.
Maybe he was bringing it for you.
No, we don't do that. But it's not only that he smelled like marijuana, he had marijuana on him. So, I didn't want people to understand that we didn't arrest him for smelling like it. We arrested him because he possessed it at the sheriff's office, wanting to see me. And once again, the road to righteousness is narrow and hard. So we're going to make sure we do that. And he was arrested for possession of marijuana right there in the sheriff's office.
All right. Well, that's all the time that we have for this week. We thank you for joining us, and we'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.